Okay, it is recording. Um, well, my name is Samantha Unger. I am a student at Purdue University, and I will be talking about the American economy. And I actually don't know a lot about the U.S. economy. I know that it's a very complex system, and it can be affected by many different factors. Um, Mainly in my experience, I hear about the economy and it is this looming presence that it never is talked about in a very nice light. It's always in a scary idea where there's we're more worried about something bad happening than good. Um, some of the things that have affected the economy in my lifetime, though I didn't actually live through it because I wasn't old enough, was we had a housing crisis in 2008, and that brought the economy down. There was 9/11, which also brought the economy down in 2001, and there obviously uh, COVID-19 and the pandemic has been making the economy like not been making the economy kind of bad. Like I said, I don't really know a lot of the specifics of the terminology or anything like that. Um, I do know that the economy can be changed by numerous factors. There's any sort of economic bubble, which basically means that there's a lot of money put into something, or in a better terms, something is more costly than it should be, and at that point, the the money just the bubble, as it's called, pops, and that's when everyone has all of these things that are really expensive, but they cannot resell them, and they've spent a lot of money on them. There has been talk that we are in a bubble right now in terms of education, technology, um, etc. Basically, meaning that our phones could be more expensive than they actually are worth, and then when that bubble pops, we've spent all this money on technology that really isn't as worth it as we thought. Um, or education. People are always talking about how the cost of college tuition is constantly going up, and at what point does the students just say, I'm not going to pay this college tuition anymore, and just not go to college? At what point does college become more pricey than it's really worth? Um, and in and other events that I wasn't alive for that affected the economy. It can be anything from any military um, any military conflicts or anything that we are in, which is a little weird. But in the past, specifically during World War I, when we got involved with when the United States of America got involved with World War I. Before we actually got involved, we were in the middle of what in our history we call the Great Depression. It was a very low time in America's economy. And when we got involved in World War I, that actually boosted our economy. Um, Actually, wait, was it the? Yes, it was World War I. It was World War I that that we right before we were in the Great Depression, and then it boosted our economy to the point where we were very well off afterwards, which that could possibly be because of the fact that we were not geographically super involved with the World War, but close, like, but still financially invested more so than um yes, I don't really I think that that kind of encompasses. Like I said, I don't really know about the economy that much. So, Peter, would you like
No
to?
problem. I can take it from here, and I can try and help sum up what you're saying. It all makes sense at least. And so my name is Peter Papapolymerou. I go to Purdue University. Um, and so if I were to describe the U.S. economy, I would describe it as a capitalist economy. That is a term coined in the 19th century by a social theorist, Karl Marx, and it is a system in which a small group of people control large amounts of money or capital and make the most important economic decisions. This is completely opposite from the government controlling every single decision, and it's way more privatized. Now, before we get started, before I get into detail, I would like to separate the US economy and the stock market, and I'll translate La Bolsa de Valores for Laura. They're two completely different things, as we've seen through the past year at the US economy, and in the stock market, as a lot of the companies, their stocks do not follow the economy and they fluctuate a lot. They're very volatile. But the basic ingredients of the US economy are, in my mind, a couple things. The first ingredient being the country's natural resources. So for the United States is rich in mineral resources, fertile farm soil, and blessed with a modern climate. We have lots and lots of coastline space, the Gulf of Mexico, the Great Lakes, and we have these waterways which help shape the United States' economy over the years. A lot of this has opened up for jobs, companies, and the second ingredient, which is labor. The more available workers, the more employed workers, per se, the better the economy, depending on the certain situation. However, as we all know, well, as Samantha and I know, and as I'd like to explain to Laura, there are plenty and plenty and plenty of different factors that all settle into the economy. But throughout the past 100 so years, you can see that the economy has always been growing. No matter what, the buying and selling of commodities or goods has always increased, no matter what. So the economy always goes up. On the other hand, there is also the stock market, which is always mixed up. And although it does correlate at sometimes with the economy, and this is the buying and selling of shares of a certain stock of a company, basically betting on the future, if you want to say, and predicting that that company will do really well in the future or do really poorly. And you can buy that stock or you can sell that stock, and selling, saying that stock's going to go down and making money off of that. But the entirety of the economy, of the US economy, is based on labor for the most part. And these selling of stocks, the natural resources that the United States has to offer. There's plenty of trades between different countries. Intelligence plays a vital role as well. But US economy, no matter what, has always been, I'd say at least, run mainly by the people and not by the government, which changes at times. And at times this has either made the market go up in great deals or down, as we've seen. As Samantha had mentioned, the Great Depression, you have the crash in October of 1987, right before Y2K, around 9/11, also not great. And the stock market had reflected up until then. You have the 2008 housing crash. You have the COVID-19 recession. These are all events, and although they've all had the stock market crash, the economy has always, always, always kept booming, and the market has always overall grown. Hence the saying, stocks always go up. So that is the US economy. If Laura, you'd like to let us know about the Colombian economy, that'd be great.
Oh, and to clarify, because I don't know if stocks really translate really well. Stocks basically in the stock market, when you are buying shares of, when you're buying and selling stocks, basically you are buying a piece of the company. In that case, you're becoming part, what's almost like an owner-ish. So your money can either go up in value or go down in value. So when you are talking about buying and selling stocks, you want to, your money will go higher in value, and then obviously you want to sell it then, or it can go down in value, which is what we mean when the stock market crashes, because your money becomes, in some cases, in some extreme cases, your money can become worthless. So that's what we mean, in case that wasn't clear. I probably made it more complicated.
Just we can go through it after
Yeah, okay, sorry.
questions, but
Sure. And the economy in Colombia, Colombia has the fourth largest economy based on GDP in all of South, South America, 31% in 2015, and on track to grow another 25% in 2016. And the Central Bank of Colombia predicts of 29 expansion for 2017. It is driven by export of petroleum, bananas, coffee, and the flowers imported by the USA come from Colombia. Recent years have been major changes in the petroleum industry of Colombia. A decrease in both per barrel production price per barrel has been a major factor in generate the lowest economic growth rates since the 2009 crisis. Although oil exports represent only the 5% of GDP, they account for 20% of the government's revenue. This had led the government to issue a tax reform proposal. The USA dollar has been very strong against the Colombian pesos to the dollar. This is the great for United States investment in Colombia. On the other hand, many exports are finding real estate price that were already significantly less than similar properties in many parts of the USA to be even more of a bargain due to the strong dollar. While this is a boost for the USA, it is not such a great situation for Colombians. Our import products are more expensive, and exports are a bargain for foreign purchase, but bring in less revenue for Colombia. And it also discourages travel to the States That's it.
Thank you.
Okay, so are there any questions about each other's? I'm trying to think exactly how long the recording has been going on. I think we are good because I think we're good on time. So I think I'll stop this recording.